Hello and welcome to another fun-filled edition of Adam's Music Box. And because it's the 9th of May, Russia's Victory Day, a big national holiday, I want to talk about the patriotic, nationalistic, and march music of Russia, which is very much related to its folk music. We'll get there in a second. Now, Russia, as we know, came late to the party when it came to modern classical music. Mikhail Glinka was the first great Russian composer who started doing his thing around the early 19th century, centuries after there was already a long tradition of classical music in Europe. Now, one of the reasons, I would say the main reason for this, is because in the Russian Orthodox Church, the music was always vocal. There were no instruments the way there were in Roman Catholic and Protestant churches of Europe. Instead, it was all vocal chanting. Now, in Greek and Levantine Orthodox churches, it was monophonic chanting, where around the 17th century in Russia, harmony, a modern sense of harmony, but a very Russian style, very unique, was brought into it. Now, Russia also modernized its military somewhat later than many great European armies, whether we're talking about Frederick the Great's Prussia, whether we're talking about the large French armies, whether we're talking about the British military tradition, with a small but organized army and a navy. We all know about all of that stuff. Holland had its own musical traditions to go along with its marches. The Prussian marches became international favorites. Britain had a unique tradition. And when you listen to the Russian military marches of the 19th century and the 18th century, you hear that a lot of it is borrowed from Prussia, which isn't surprising because a lot of countries, even in South America and Asia, borrowed a lot from Prussian marches. You could say that America's March, King John Philip Sousa, was influenced by some of it as well. But there was very little in the nationalistic march military music of 19th century Russia that was unique. That all changed in the 20th century, and much of it is because of one man, the great composer and military band leader Alexander Vasilievich Alexandrov, the founder of the Russian Army Choir, the Red Army Choir and Band, who are ubiquitous on television and internet and all sorts of places like that. Now, in doing so, he created a tradition that it sounded Russian. It not only incorporated the instrumentation of the modern European concert and military band, but incorporated a lot of Russian instruments. Think the balalaika. The compositions that he both composed and arranged were also very Russian. A lot of them were in minor keys, where marches traditionally, especially in the Prussian and British and French traditions, were in major keys. So again, the sound immediately strikes you, even if you're not a musician, as something very different. And it was because of that uniquely memorable sound that he created that even people who hate military music or nationalistic type of music fell in love with the Red Army Choir. You don't need to be a communist to like it. Hell, I'm not. But the point is, the music was so special that people the world over, even during the Cold War, fell absolutely in love with it. His son Boris Alexandrov continued the tradition well into the sort of later years of the Soviet Union, continuing to compose new music for this unique style of concert band in this unique style, and it's luckily all over Spotify. You can find a lot of it written in English, some of it written in Russian on the Spotify search engine, so you can use your favorite chatbot to translate it for you. But on this day when a lot of the music is played in Russia and elsewhere, definitely check it out because it took a march tradition that most people thought by the end of the 19th century was set in stone, and it reinvented it in the 20th century along very interesting folkloric and musical lines. Check it out. As always, like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.